Aren't you guys so glad?
Something going on with the camera. Okay, hold on. We'll do this until I can figure out what's going on with the camera. The camera's on. It's not pumping anything out. Okay, well. Anyways, we're here. How's everyone doing? If you guys want to go ahead and double tap the screen, comment, interact, help get some people in here, would appreciate it. I'm going to see if Josh or Jaden is joining us. I do not know, but we'll go ahead and get this going. Oh. Okay, that's a follower. I don't know. Let me see if I can get Josh. Hold on a second. I need Josh or something in here. Got Max. Alright, let's see if Max is debating. I don't know what's going on with the camera here.
Yo, what's good?
What's going on? Are you opposition?
Well, probably, but not that strong on the MAGA movement, but I'm on Trump's side.
Alright. Why do you want to do why you support Trump, or you want to debate the fascist movement thing?
Uh,
Hello?
my bad. I don't really think that he is a fascist in any way, because I don't know if you can become a fascist in the government, because you still have to go through all of the Congress and everything else in order to do something. But like dictators, don't they just do things on their own?
Well, he's trying, but dictatorial doesn't mean fascist. It usually runs part and parcel. It doesn't mean fascist.
But that's part of the definition is like dictator.
No, it usually revolves around a strongman or a cult of personality. It doesn't inherently mean dictator. It means that someone is
Oh,
actively working towards being authoritarian or dictator, or that they do things in an authoritarian or dictatorial manner. It doesn't always mean that they're a full-blown dictator.
fair, fair. What is like one of the things you don't like that Trump's doing right now?
I mean, can we talk about the Memorial Day tweet? How anybody could support that is beyond me.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet. What was it
So,
about?
I can read it to you. Hold on a second. Okay, for some reason I'm not getting a camera connection, but it is showing. One second. Okay, I'm gonna need a second for this. What the heck?
All right.
Sorry. What even happened? Okay, now it's all wonky. I don't know. It was not about Memorial Day? It wasn't about Memorial Day, that's for sure.
What was
That
it?
is for sure. Let me read it.
Uh,
Check out Josh or Paige or literally anyone else. I can join in for a second while I sort out the problems on this thing. Alright, here's part of it. Happy Memorial Day to all, including the scum that spent the last 4 years trying to destroy our country through warped, radical left minds who allowed 21 million people to illegally enter our country, many of them being criminals and the mentally insane, through an open border that's only an incompetent president would approve, and through judges who are on a mission to keep murderers, drug dealers, rapists, gang members, and release prisoners from all over the world in our country so they can rob, murder, and rape. This is fucking insane. And if someone said
what's
this on Facebook, you're like, you need to be fucking medicated.
what was wrong about that? You kind of said
What,
everything right.
what the fuck
We
do you
did have
mean was
illegals,
wrong
though.
about that?
He
That's
did
normal to you?
Biden did leave him.
That's normal to you?
Okay, explain what's
Is
not
that
really like.
what do you mean? Why do I have to explain what's not normal about that?
Because he's just speaking facts. He's talking
We're
about how
speaking
Biden
what
will let a
facts?
bunch
There
of
wasn't
people.
21 million people that came in here. Migrants commit crime at a lower rate. Biden did not open the border.
Yes, yes, that's literally what he did.
When did he do it? What executive order? What law?
He opened the border and let people go through. There's
When did he
many
do
people
that?
going
When
through
did
the
he do
border.
that? How did he do that?
I'm in New Mexico, so I saw people.
I mean, Josh, if he was in here, lives right on the border. Right on the border in Arizona.
Damn,
So what are
dedication right there.
you? So what's true about that? Is that not an insane way? Why can you not just say Happy Memorial Day? Can you show me another president that said that? Said anything remotely
Oh
comparable
yeah,
to
well,
that?
yeah, that's pretty fair. I don't think he should have like added it, but just commenting that isn't that much of a false statement. He did
It's
open
not
the
about whether or
border
not it's a
quite a bit.
false statement. It's
We,
about whether or not it's fucking insane. Because if I was to get up here and go, the radical Republican rapist apologizing, government hating, overthrowing bastards, blah, 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 as the fucking president, you'd be like, that's fucking weird. And I'd be like, you're right.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I still think that uh we do have a lot of illegals, and it was under Biden's administration, which let him in.
What did he do? I'm
Was
acting
it?
worse than the president. You need to be mental. You need to be in the fucking pen with him.
I gotta go, bro.
Okay.
Good talking.
All right. If you're debating, hop on in the box. Would appreciate it. Do I have Paige or Josh in here? Or Jaden or one of my regulars or someone? Because I have a camera issue over on fucking... I got the camera. It's just not going into the feed. I don't know what's going on. Alright, is this a debate?
Hey man, I'm not here to debate. Sorry, I didn't realize that's what this was about. But I just wanted to ask you: do you ever ask people what their media diet is? Right, like that last dude, is he just swallowing wholesale everything that he sees on the internet?
Yeah, probably. We it's usually like when I ask, that is funny. When I ask, they don't say it's like Fox News or what. They go, "Oh, I don't watch. I just get my news from a lot of different places," which tells me
That's
that they
exactly what they tell me.
Yep, it tells me that they do not get them from a lot of different places. They get them from comment sections.
Comment sections, memes.
Yep.
This is what I talk about all the time on my live. I'll let you go and do what your business is, but yeah, it's all about information, man. It's all about the things we absorb become our outcomes. So, good luck. Keep fighting.
All right, take it, man. You can rely on your Gonna connect. Not gonna connect. Just going down the list of who's here first. Antifa fits many fascist ideologies. No, it doesn't. Not a single one. Levito, what's up?
Yo, what's up?
What's going on? How old are you?
21.
All right, what's going on? What's your take?
That background is misleading. It's liberal propaganda.
What's fascism?
Right-wing authoritarianism.
Looks like you nailed it. There you go. Awesome. Looks like it's not misleading.
Yeah, no. If Donald Trump was authoritarian, you wouldn't be able to get on here and call him that.
That's not true at all. That's not what authoritarian mean. Authoritarian does not equal totalitarianism. That's not what authoritarian means. Authoritarian means a form or a feature or something of dictatorial control over a populous country, governance, etc. Right. That doesn't mean that's not totalitarianism. That's not that doesn't mean that's like full-blown repression.
So is Donald Trump dictating what you do every day, or you got the freedom to do what you want?
That does not determine whether or not someone's fascist.
Yeah, he's not, though. That's the problem.
He absolutely
it's all
is. It's absolutely not. Can you define what fascism is more so than just saying
like I said, it's a right-wing authoritarian ideology.
Right.
That's what it is.
Right,
Yeah.
which he would be right-wing authoritarian. Authoritarian does not mean totalitarianism. It does not mean that you have complete dictatorial control. Authoritarianism is an ideology.
Okay, well, I mean, you can believe you're just manifesting something. That's what I want you to know. Y'all can manifest, call him a dictator and a fascist, and when it happens, you guys are gonna regret it. I'm telling you now.
Why am I
there are
going to
people
think
who
that?
really live through- What you say?
Why am I going to?
Why are you going to what? Regret it?
Right.
Name anybody who's ever lived through a ruthless dictator. You will regret that if that happened.
I mean, there are people that survived through Nazi Germany. There are people that survived through fascist Italy. There are people that survived through fascist Spain.
Yeah. So my point is, these people. As a matter of fact, my bad. I misspoke. I didn't say it correctly. That's on me. People who live through dictators wouldn't dare. You think they would call? If there were still people alive from Germany, do you think they would call Donald Trump anything remotely close to what the Mustache Man was? They wouldn't.
I
do
can
that.
tell you that most scholars are pretty unanimous about this, that Donald Trump is a fascist authoritarian.
Yeah, those scholars don't know nothing.
Timothy Schneider. You can't just say they don't know nothing. That doesn't work. But I mean, if you want to use the objective stance of like who would actually have been there, yes, a lot of people from that time period called Donald Trump a fascist. The ones that are alive,
sure.
at least.
Yeah, sure.
Ruth Bader Giat, Robert O. Paxton, Timothy Snyder, Jason Stanley. Actually, Jason Stanley and Timothy Snyder have left the country.
Yeah, I would hope y'all all leave the country. Y'all could be right next to.
Why are you okay? Why are you okay with that?
I'm okay with it because that's what y'all said. I heard a bunch of people. I'm leaving the country if Trump wins. Guess what? Y'all are still here. None of y'all left. It's all talking points.
I don't know what that has to do with whether or not he's a fascist.
He's just not. I already told you. He's not.
So you can tell me all you want, but fascism is far right fanatical ultranationalism. Okay. That's where we're at. That's where we are.
Well,
you saying it's dictator. There's nothing wrong with what?
There's nothing wrong with nationalism.
There's nothing wrong with nationalism. I would argue that
No.
there is, that it leads to ultranationalism. I would argue that there is, that nationalism prioritizes mediocre people of any given country that are rather comfortable versus the people in other countries that are starving to death. So yeah, I would say that there's
well, go
something
live
wrong
in
with
that country.
nationalism. What?
Yeah, well, go live in that country.
What do you
right
mean
now,
go live
you
in?
said-
What do you mean go live in that country? Are you fucking stupid, bro?
No, I'm saying.
Like what
you
does that
care so
address? How
much-
does that address what I said? How does that
No,
address at
so
all
that's-
what I
that's what I'm
said?
saying.
Can you
You sit
track the
here-
conversation? What
Yeah,
does
no,
that?
so
How does that
I'm-
address what I said?
I'm about to tell you. So you sit here and you benefit from America. You sit here and benefit everything from America, all the benefits. You reap
America
them
is not
every
MAGA.
day. Yeah, what'd you say?
America is not MAGA.
Yes, it
America
is.
is not Trump. No, it is not.
Yes,
No,
it
it is
is
not. Donald Trump has never broke 50% approval rating. America is not MAGA.
49.9.
He may be good at getting people to not show up to vote, but he is the most unpopular president in American history. Point blank, period. No fucking discussion. America
lie.
is not. That's not true. Find another one.
All 7 swing states?
Name another one that is more popular.
That's more unpopular than Trump?
Right.
Probably Harry Truman. Herbert
Let's
Hoover.
look up public opinion polling.
No one
Would you
cares
like
what the
to?
public think.
Would you like
No,
to?
I don't care.
What do you mean? You're pointing to the public and saying all 7 swing states, despite the fact that that's the electoral college that
That's
does
how we
not
elect
determine. He
presidents.
has lost the popular vote twice, 2 times.
He won it this
He
time.
won. He won it this time because he ran against someone that jumped in the last minute.
Oh.
Let's be so for fucking real. And his approval rating is less than 42% now. Let's be so fucking real.
Approval rating that they allow Democrats to vote on?
I'm so confused. Bro, you cannot decide that, like, I'm going to use this metric to say that he's popular, but when you pull up contradicting metrics or make sense out of the metrics that I use to try and say he's popular, I'm going to go ahead and ignore him. It doesn't work that way. That's called ad hoc rationalization.
You're just anti-Trump.
Exactly. Yeah, you're fucking getting it. I am anti-Trump. Was that ever a question?
Yeah, you won't get a man a fair chance. He's been in office for
I've given him a fair chance. What has he done that's good? What has he done that's good?
This term or last term? This term?
Let's start with the first term.
What he did that was good the first time?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was a trend line, but I mean,
I don't need a trend line. Let's. What did he do? No. What did he do? No. What did he do? What can you point to that he did that caused good things to happen during his presidency?
Temporary. I mean, it went up later, but temporary tax cuts through the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. Everybody enjoyed
Temporary tax cuts to billionaires that wasn't even done by him. That was a bipartisan bill that was done by Paul Ryan.
No.
Paul Ryan was the one that brokered that. Paul Ryan was the one that put that together. Donald Trump just signed the paper. It had nothing to do with him.
It doesn't matter. It does not matter.
What do you mean it
does
doesn't
not
matter? What do you mean it doesn't matter? He did nothing. He did nothing. You're trying to say give him credit for stuff. Because if I was to point to Biden and I was to say, well, this bill, blah, 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 I was like, well, did he actually do anything? If you want to talk the CHIPS Act? Yeah, he had a part in that. You want to talk the PACT Act? Biden absolutely pushed for that. But it was a bipartisan bill done by multiple different people. And it wasn't until the end that Biden got in there and pushed for it. If you want to say that he did something, tell me what he did besides sign the fucking paper.
Okay, well let's talk.
And I just want to point out that was a bipartisan bill that, by the way, gave away trillions of dollars to billionaires.
I said we got temporary. The middle class got temporary tax cuts. Yes, they
Temporary tax cuts. And how long were the tax cuts for billionaires, mind you?
did. Yeah, it lasted. It's gonna last the whole thing till it runs out.
Well, how long? How long did billionaire? 10 years, right? What did we get?
We had the 2 years of temporary tax cuts. I told you the two.
Well, it was 3. It's 3.
Yeah.
So we got 3 and billionaires got 10. Does that sound fair?
You just hate the rich.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, now you're getting it.
I don't hate the rich. That's the problem.
Now you're getting it. You should hate the rich. They're the reason you're impoverished. They're the reason you're impoverished.
I'm impoverished compared to them. I'm not
Right.
mad at another man's hustle.
You have less money because of them.
No, quit pocket watching. I'm not.
A pocket watching? What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, grade A level pocket watching is what y'all do.
What? Because I'm pointing out that
because he earned his money.
No, they didn't. They don't earn their money. What are you talking about? They
LeBron
purposefully
James did.
don't. No, they don't. That's not how
LeBron
billionaires
James
get
did.
rich.
LeBron
LeBron
James
James. So you're pointing
Yeah.
to one. Are you a troll? You're not a very good
No, I'm
one,
not.
mind you.
I'm
Okay, you're
being
just
dead ass.
okay. So you're not a troll. You're just dumb as fuck.
I'm not. There's nothing I said that's been incorrect.
Yeah, there literally is lots of shit you said that's been incorrect.
LeBron James isn't a billionaire. They work for his money.
I don't know that LeBron James is a billionaire, or whether or not he is. I don't know how much LeBron James is worth. Couldn't tell you. He might be. I don't fucking know. But you to point to one person, by the way, if he was a billionaire, would be on the low end of the spectrum and be like, well, this makes up for all billionaires. Yeah, that's not true.
Yeah.
Okay, billionaires don't make their money. The people below them make their money for them. Period.
Okay,
Period.
great. I mean, that's how. Welcome to
Period.
capitalism. Welcome to capitalism.
It's not welcome to capitalism. They've taken our resources that we paid for, that we built infrastructure for, that we legislated, and they've basically monopolized it. And they've paid back nothing into the system. And they pay nothing in taxes, or very little in taxes, while you get shafted and public programs get screwed. I want to point out right now, this bill that's going through is $4.9 trillion. It's a $4.9 trillion package. One second, really quick. $4.9 trillion. Okay? It's going to raise the deficit, our debt by $3 trillion minimum of $3 trillion, and that's assuming that other people don't find ways to borrow into those tax loopholes. $3 trillion. And you know what they're planning on doing? Okay, they're planning on taking away programs that help out Americans. Don't talk to me about fucking nationalism. It's not nationalism in this country. It's billionairism. It's billionairism.
Yeah, so crony. So you're mad at corporations. So you'll be addressing crony capitalism.
I'm not mad at. I'm mad at. I am mad at corporations. Absolutely, I'm mad that they continually skirt on their taxes. That you and I pay a higher rate than they do. Yeah, I'm
right.
mad about that.
So that's what I was just getting into. So we might pay a higher rate compared to them, but they pay more than you do. The amount that they pay is more than you do.
They have all the fucking money. Of course they pay more than me. That would be fucking stupid. If you go to a restaurant and you order more than me, you should be expected to pay more.
Yeah. I want.
What the fuck? Of course. They have more money. Why would they not pay more of it? Well, we paid the same per. But I pay. Could you imagine walking to a restaurant? Let's take this. There's you and someone else, and you order 30% of the food, and the other person orders 70, right? And they go, oh, well, you only paid. What are you doing? You only paid 50% of the. Or you paid 55% of the food. I only ate 30. So you're making me pay 45%? Well, I paid more than you. But that's not the point. You ate more. Of course you have to pay more. What the fuck?
Yeah. I mean, I just think it's a way. I just think it could be a way where everybody gets tax cuts. That's all I'm saying.
Tax cuts that are going to cut programs for people in America.
Yeah, there's some people who abuse some of those programs.
No,
so we
there's
have
not.
to cut out the
No, there's
fraud,
not.
and
No,
abuse.
we're gonna stop right there, and you're gonna find me a source on that.
What on the fraud that's
Find
in
me
Snap?
a source on how much fraud. I know the answer to this. Find me a source that there's a lot of fraud that would justify your point.
No, I never said it was a lie.
Nope. I don't want to hear it. I want you to go find it.
I don't have one.
Then you're wrong. Admit you're wrong or go find it.
I'm
Admit
not
you
wrong.
lied
Fraud
there.
does happen.
And that's
Okay,
not
hold
what
on.
your
I got
point
you.
was. That's not what your
I got
claim
you.
was. Your
Yes, it
claim was
was.
not that. No, your claim was not that fraud happened. You said that a lot of fraud happens in that program, indicating that we need to cut it or make changes because this is a systemic problem. You can Google
Okay, well, a lot of
systemic
fraud
while you're
doesn't
at
happen. I
it.
correct myself. A lot of fraud doesn't happen, but fraud does happen.
Right. So you're going to cut programs for millions of Americans across the United States.
For some of them, not all of them.
Who cares?
I'm not understanding.
Why are we cutting? Why are we cutting? Hold on. Why are we cutting? I just want to point out, you're aware that like there have been tax cuts for billionaires across the fucking board every single fucking year. Every single year there are tax breaks for billionaires. And we don't get that. Why is that?
I think the rich look out for the rich. The rich look out for the rich.
No. So who's Donald Trump again? Is he one of the rich?
He's against the establishment.
Is he one of the rich?
Yeah.
So the rich look out for the rich, right?
Okay.
Cool. He's not against the establishment. He is the fucking establishment. He's the same person that paid he's the same person that paid politicians to write the fucking legislation that helped his billionaire fucking buddies. So I was sitting in the fucking Oval Office the other day after he crashed the fucking economy and then said, oh, bye. And it boomed. And he's going, look, how much money did you make? 100 million, 145 million? Nice. That's how much money. That's what he's talking about. What other people that sold out lost everything. Lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. He's going, oh, you made a lot of money? You made a lot of money? Not a single word for the people that lost their retirements. Not a single word. Has he ever said a single word for the people that he cost their retirements over this stupid fucking trade war that did literally nothing? Literally nothing?
It was about getting China to come to the table, but
What did we get?
No, he did not.
Cool. What did we get? What did we get from it?
I mean, we seen the tariffs go down 10%.
What tariffs?
10%.
The tariffs went up. What are you talking about? Our tariffs didn't go down.
No,
They went up.
China dropped the tariffs.
No, their tariff is 10%. Their
Exactly.
tariff, right? It went up 2%. And by the way,
wasn't
we
at
don't pay
8%.
that. Their citizens pay that. Ours went up 9%. We pay 9% more taxes now. Taxes. Let's get it clear. Taxes. We pay 9% more taxes. So what did you and I get out of this fucking deal?
Yeah, well, we're buying from American companies anyway, so it is what it is. Even if that.
I'm
is true.
asking you. That's not the question. What did we get out of this deal?
I mean, we just want negotiations and fair trade with China. It's about fair trade with China. They've been
That's
ripping us
cool.
off.
What did we get? I feel like this guy's a troll.
I'm
gonna
not.
borrow him anyways. What did we get?
I'm not. I don't know why you say that. Go whatever.
What did we get?
I think it's just about talking to China.
Talking to China about what? Why did we have to? Why do I have to be charged 9% more in tariffs or in taxes so that we can talk to China? Because
So
we were
you
talking to
claim to
China.
be like, I'm assuming you claim to be like this humanitarian who cares for the working class. Why do you think products are so cheap from China? Because they're over there using slave labor and they got kids in factories.
Buddy,
But
let me
you
get
don't
one
care.
thing real fucking clear here. The rights want to whitewash history about slavery is so fucking insane. And then you guys turn around and go, look, they're using slave labor. And then you justify what we did for 300 fucking years. And on top of that, okay, they fucking
200.
don't. They don't. It was 300.
It was 200. See,
You wanna
the
run the
first slave
numbers?
got here in 1619.
Yeah. When did it end?
1865. 200.
Nope.
That's 200. What? 70 years?
Nope, it didn't. No, it didn't.
Yes, it did. Yes,
No, it
did.
didn't. Want to bet?
When did the Emancipation Proclamation? When was that written? When was the 13th? When was
The
13th
Emancipation
Amendment?
Proclamation and the end of the Civil War did not stop slavery.
What? It did. What are you talking about?
No, it didn't. Slavery went on
Yes,
until the
it did.
1940s. Nope. Slavery went on until the 1940s.
No, slavery still happens today.
I know. Institutional
Right.
slavery, the same type, went on until 1940.
No, it did not.
Yes,
You're
it did.
wrong, wrong,
There's fucking photos of the of the emancipation of these fucking camps. Yes, the 1940s until
Yeah, some
slavery
slaves
ended.
didn't. That's what Juneteenth is for. Some
I'll
slave
pull it
owners
up
didn't-
for you.
they
I'll
tell
pull it up
that they
for
were
you.
free.
1 second.
That's what Juneteenth is for. Look up what year did slavery end.
While the 13th Amendment abolished slavery in the United States in 1865, the reality is that slavery continued in various forms, particularly in the South, until the 1960s and even beyond. The practice of neo-slavery, as it was called by Douglas Blackman, involved forced labor, debt peonage, and other forms of exploitation of African Americans.
Yeah, so you're talking about things that happened illegally. Those were slave owners not telling their slaves they were free. That's what
Slavery
Juneteenth
was
is.
internationally illegal.
What?
Slavery was internationally illegal since the 1700s. Or sorry,
Yeah,
1820s,
it was a thing here.
something like that.
It was a thing here. Okay, and
At
your
any
point?
rate, my guy, China doesn't do that. China really
China
doesn't
does
do
slave
that.
labor.
There is
You
slave
think people
labor
are
that
working for
happens in
pennies in
China. There
China?
is slave labor that happens in China. I agree with you, but to say that this is an institutional problem or to say that you as a Republican give a fuck, you guys are for the exploitation of workers. I don't know why the fuck you're complaining about this.
No. Yeah, so there's no moving you over.
I asked you a question and you deviated from it, like I was gonna
What was the
move,
question?
and I'm just gonna come back to it. What did we get from the Chinese trade deal?
We want fair trade with China.
Not what we want. What did we get?
Oh my, we didn't get nothing. We didn't get nothing.
Awesome. Cool. That's awesome. Wow, that was easy. Cool. So we just went through this whole rigmarole for you to come back to. So we have gotten nothing. Not a single thing.
Why don't you talk about some of the good stuff he's done this term? Why don't you talk about some of the good stuff he's done this term?
I have. It's fucking overshadowed by the awful.
Oh, okay. So you talk about.
And I just want to point out, he has done two good things. He has done two good things, just two good things alone. I want to point out
And what
that
are
at least
those?
one of those good things he did for himself, and the other good thing I'm pretty sure he did for himself.
Can you tell me what are those two things
Cool.
that you did?
The first thing he did was that he made it a federal mandate that clinics that take in any sort of federal dollars have to list their prices for services, for healthcare services, obviously and easily accessible access to them. I assume it's because one time he got fucked out of a bill or got a bill for more than he thought he was going to have. So, but it's a good thing. But I do think he did it for himself. And I think it's backed up by the second good thing he did, which is that he banned, and he was not the one that did this bill. He just signed it. So I'm giving him way more fucking credit than
The
he
Take It Down
deserves.
Act. Hopefully you bring it up.
Right. It was the Take It Down Act. And you know why he said he signed that?
Probably well, his wife championed it.
Do you know why he said he signed it?
You have to tell me, but I know his wife championed it. Melania
He said,
championed it.
Nobody on the internet is treated more unfairly than I. That's what he said. That's why he signed the fucking bill. Nobody is treated more unfairly than I. Not a single word about the victims. Not a single word about the people that have been affected by AI. Not a single word about people whose lives have been destroyed by it. No, because I've been treated unfairly online.
Oh, okay.
Isn't that fucking wild? Can you name another
well-
good thing he's done? I just want to point
Yeah,
out, he's not the one that wrote this bill. I just want to point that
Okay.
out.
Okay. My point. I mean, he's done a lot of good things that I deem as good. But
Okay,
you're
what's
not
a
gonna
good thing
like
he
it.
did? What's a good thing that
So
he did?
we see an executive order for him. He's going to make a plan to make IVF more affordable, so that people who have problems with fertility, they'll be able to hopefully be able to afford IVF now. Tell me that's bad. Is that bad? That's not bad.
Sorry, is it in a bill?
No, it's an executive order.
Okay, and what does it do?
It's targeting to lower the price. They want to come up with a plan to lower the price of IVF.
Come up with a plan, so he hasn't done anything.
At least he did an executive order. He's telling you that he's trying to do it. Like
But
there's
he didn't
nothing
do
this
it.
man can do. There's nothing
But he
can
didn't do it. What do you mean
Y'all
there's
can
nothing
play-
that he can do?
Hey, I'm telling you
What
that.
do you
hey,
mean there's
well,
nothing? Did he not just bully all of Republicans into voting for his bill?
I think so Republican policies benefit people who have money. We can agree on that. Majority of those Republicans in the House they're rich anyway. They're getting all that PAC money. They were gonna vote for that anyway. They just wanted to overlook it. And I find it funny. Chip Roy from Texas was saying, "I can't do this. He don't care." Chip Roy don't care. He don't care. It's all theatrics.
Why?
But there's
why?
a good thing in that big beautiful bill that you're not looking at. So
Like what?
they're removing suppressors from the NFA. That's
Moving
good
what?
to me. They're removing suppressors from the NFA. It's in the bill.
For what?
Huh? Because suppressors shouldn't be on the NFA? What are you talking about?
One second. And what was that? I don't understand.
Look at these simpletons, call them silencers. It's called a suppressor, you simpletons.
I know what a
No, I'm talking to people in the comments. They're simpletons. They don't know nothing.
Aren't these already? One second.
Hmm?
Aren't they already fucking legal?
No. I mean, you would have to get how things like that work with the NFA. It regulates certain things, and you would have to get like a license through the ATF to have one. You got to pay a tax, or you got to pay a tax for. I know it's a license for automatic weapons, but you got to pay a tax for spray. I don't think it's a license for suppressors. I think it's just a tax.
This was I mean, yeah, but you're gonna pay fucking $3,000 more in tariffs. So this was worth that?
Well, I mean, you never asked me why I voted for Trump. I'm a supporter. I'm a big time supporter of the Second Amendment, and big time supporter of, like, the GOA and the NRA. So you never asked why I voted for Trump.
You voted for Trump. You understand that his firearm position is more strict than Obama.
Yeah, he passed his first term. Let me explain. So his first term, he did terrible things, terrible things. With
They're
his
getting rid
bump
of the
stock ban.
tax on silencers.
Yeah, I'm trying.
What?
I'm trying to tell you. So his first term, he did terrible things, and I criticized him for it. Donald Trump. I just want you to know, Donald Trump's like not like my favorite politician or nothing like that. I have somebody who, if I could replace Donald Trump, I would replace him. But he's my second favorite politician. Either way, he did terrible things his first term, but he's making up for it now. He's already helped the Second Amendment. He's already helped the Second Amendment twice now. So
By taxes?
by removing the suppressor
So
off the NFA, and
removing
he
the
also allowed for the
taxes.
sale.
I just point removing the taxes. They're not illegal to possess, even in my state, which has really strict restrictions.
What? The suppressors are on the NFA. You have to go through a certain process to get them in your state.
Right, but they're still legal. Right, but they're still legal.
We want less regulation. What don't you understand about that?
Less regulation. That's what you voted. You voted for. You literally asked for that. That's why you're like, Trump's a great president, is because he removed a fucking tax.
Well, no, it's more than that.
More than that, what?
I told you why I voted. I told you.
Hey, as a gun owner, I want more regulation. Why would you want less regulation? Why?
I don't.
How does that make you a responsible gun owner?
No, a responsible pew owner doesn't break the laws anyway. So you shouldn't have to go through extra loopholes.
Right, but how do you know? Wait. How do you know? How do you know that?
How do I know?
If I'm standing, hold on a second. If I'm standing in front of a group of people, right, and we're, say, at a shooting range, I'm like, hey, you want you want to shoot this, right? Right? You want to shoot this? You want to shoot this? If I haven't vetted any of these people before, right, I don't know if any of them are fucking nuts. I don't know if any of them are going to turn that gun on us. I couldn't tell you. Why would I not want to know who that person is and whether or not they are responsible? Why? We have driver's licenses for that reason, right? So that we know that other people on the road are responsible in that regard. Right? So why would I not want that?
So number one, that's a terrible comparison. Don't ever bring up.
That's not a terrible comparison. That's not a terrible comparison.
So driving's a privilege.
It was not.
Driving's a privilege. Owning a firearm is a right. Guarantees you.
Owning a firearm is a right. It wasn't enumerated as a right. It was made a right by the Supreme Court. Let's get that fucking right. And I do not care. I don't care. Right.
Yeah,
I know. Thank you. You literally just proved my fucking point. It was not as enumerated as a right. It was established as one by the Supreme Court.
It definitely was made for individual use. 100%.
Who made it for individual use?
The man who drafted the Bill of Rights, James Madison, he wrote a letter to Mark telling people that the Second Amendment protected their privateers, that the Second Amendment protected the right to own cannons. So it had nothing to do with individual rights. You really think if you walked into the Constitutional Congress right now and literally started racking off rounds at the ceiling with an AR, they would have been like, yeah, you could own that? No, what?
Is that really what you're saying?
You're
Is it really what you're saying? I just want to point out. I just want to point out the same people that you're pointing to as saying there's an individual right also wrote laws stopping people from having firearms. I just want you're aware of that. A lot of the people that wrote the Constitution came out of Virginia. They had strict gun laws out of Virginia. Strict gun laws.
Still a tyrant place.
Written by who?
Hey,
who wrote those laws?
Why did you just ignore
who
what I
wrote
said about
those
James
laws?
Madison?
Because you're pointing to a single instance and going, look, well, it says you can have it as a privateer. That has nothing to do here. And if you look at what he did with people that owned firearms, there were restrictions. You had to have safe storage.
But you said no. But so this is the problem. You just sat here and said that back then it wasn't meant for anybody to have it privately, and you're admitting that people had it privately. So you're a liar.
No.
I prove my point.
In Virginia, no, you didn't. In Virginia, you had to be part of a standing militia.
Yeah, all able-bodied men, ages 16 through 45.
No, if you were not part of a standing militia, you could not have a gun. You had to have safe storage. There was a whole host of shit.
The letter to Mark told privateers they had a right to own cannons. I just told you.
It had to do. Okay, so then why don't we talk about what happened? Like, why don't we talk about what happened in the Virginia radicalization of the signing of the Constitution? with who was it? Was it I can't remember. There was a whole discussion that happened in Virginia between James Madison and I think it was Patrick. I can't remember who it was. But they had a discussion where one of the members stood up and said, "Well, what if the North doesn't want us to have guns anymore? Could we protect ourselves from slavery? Could we protect slavery?" That was the question. And I just want to point out the reason that it says state. It doesn't say person. It says state. It was for states to have militias.
Read what's all 27 words? I'll tell you all 27 words. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people.
Back that up. What's the first line? What's the first line? Wait. Right. I know. Do you know what the people means?
Yeah.
No, what does the people mean? What does the people mean?
Citizens of the United States.
No.
Yes, it does. The Supreme Court said
no, it has to do with no, you're fucking wrong. You're super fucking wrong.
No, I'm not. You're saying the Supreme Court's wrong.
Okay, I want you to listen for a second. I want you to listen for a second. Listen for neither do you. Would you like me to play the Supreme Court that wasn't beholden to the NRA, the ones that weren't taking money from them? Warren Burger, who said that they never intended for the Supreme Court. He was the Chief Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court, by the way, who said that it was never intended, period. I can play the clip for you.
It doesn't matter.
We the people, I need you to listen for a second because you're dead fucking wrong here. And this is what I hate about, because stop talking. You don't know what you're talking about. Stop talking. This is what I fucking... I told you to stop talking. You don't want me to talk clearly because you don't want me to get this point out because you don't know what you're talking about. When we're talking about we the people, it's talking about popular sovereignty. Because at that particular time, they were concerned about a large tyrannical government overthrowing the will of the people. Okay? It has nothing to do with individual blah, 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 blah. It has to do with a universal right. Not of just the people. That's not what they're talking about, but of literally the U.S. So when they're saying the right of the people, they're saying the states' rights. They're saying at large. They're not talking about an individual right. They're saying that guns can't be banned for the sanctity of the states. That's what they were concerned about. And that's what they went around. I don't even know how you're going to argue that. That's literally what they went around and argued. Well, yeah, we want the states to have rights in case of a tyrannical government. It has nothing to do with the people.
But the Supreme Court said it's individual right. So you can continue to lie. That's law right now.
That's my fucking argument, man. That's been my fucking argument. That's been my argument this whole fucking time. And you're literally doing it. That's my whole argument. That's been my argument the whole time. That it was not enumerated by the Founding Fathers, which is a fact, because for 230 fucking years it wasn't. Until
the
when?
Supreme Court...
Scalia... You're done. You're done now. Goodbye. AJC, appreciate it for the 30. Thank you. Done with this simpleton. Whenever you're ready, Tommy. Appreciate it. Thank you. I literally made the argument to him that it did not have to do... It was not enumerated. I literally made the fucking argument. He's like, no, they did it in 2006. I know, that's the fucking argument I'm making, that it was not enumerated. The fuck? But anyways, AJC paid to kick. Brooke, appreciate it. Thank you for the $1. Got you $1. Also, like your hat. I was fucking cold this morning. Appreciate it. Thank you, Brooke. Wells, appreciate it for the $1 as well. AJC, appreciate it for the 30. If you guys want to support the channel, I would appreciate it. There's a Venmo Cash App in the bio. Alternatively, you can subscribe on here or help us out with the gift goal so you can help us get out to the For You page and get a lot more people in here. And the more people that support that way, the more likely it is to go out and keep the show going. So if you guys all would do that, there's like 600 people in here. So if 20 people donated a hat, we would, boom, hit that goal every day. Joey, appreciate it for the 10. Thank you. Can you help me settle a debate with my coworker? She's telling me every single immigrant gets a full year's pay. Wait, what? She is telling me every single immigrant gets a full paid year here, cash, food stamps, healthcare, etc. as soon as they get here. I'm sure they don't. Joey, appreciate the 10 over on YouTube. Appreciate it. Thank you guys for the hats over there. Yeah, they don't. They don't. So there are people that come here on where there's a legal asylum process or refugee status, and they come here, and some of them, they can have like food stamps. That's the legal process. And by the way, this is pretty universally done across the globe. Republicans want people to come here legally. We want people that are fleeing dire circumstances to get financial help in the same way that, you know, Republicans in West Virginia, or sorry, not West Virginia, but Republicans or people in fucking North Carolina, that they want, people in North Carolina, they want help, right? We don't look at that and go, oh, they shouldn't get help. Republicans do when it's Democratic areas for some reason. But no, we want them to get help. They don't get health care. If they go into a federally funded clinic or hospital, then yeah. But that's not a failure of immigrants. That's a failure of our system to both bring people into it and to fund our health care system. But it doesn't have to do with preventative care. And they don't get paid a full year cash. I think the average food stamps is about $13 a day. Anyway, if you were debating, hop in the box. Would appreciate it. I don't have Josh, Jaden, or Paige in here today. Interesting. Is Paige on a different live? No. Nope. All right. 1 second. Working on an art project. Maybe we take one more or so. AJC and Joey, appreciate it. Thank you. Wells, Mega is Oliver Twist in Trump's tax plan. Please, sir, may I have some more? It's actually fucking super accurate. They're literally over here getting played, getting crumbs, and they're like, woo, monies. Hello?
Hello, man.
What's up? You debating?
What was that?
You debating?
Yes.
All right, what's going on? What's your take?
I find it very disrespectful that
I didn't ask.
you're
Are you
calling.
debating?
Yes, you're calling us a fascist
Okay.
movement.
Yeah, we'll stop being fascist. It's like, hold on, that's the most victim blaming shit I've ever fucking seen. I'm so mad you're calling me out for saying what we are. How dare you?
No,
How dare you?
you're disrespecting our president. He's not a fascist.
He absolutely
no
is a
proof.
fascist.
Where's your proof?
Yes, I do. I have
What's
lots of proof. Right. Fascism is
prove?
far-right, fanatical ultranationalism characterized by ultra-conservative beliefs. Ones I could give you to Donald Trump. He's currently going after Harvard, he believes, or he's anti-arts and intellectualism, literally targeting schools to try and brainwash kids in a very Hitlerian youth-type way. I give you that one. I can go where he's talking about the cities and how they're dirty, run-down places, and I can give you where he's talking about immigrants like they're vermin because Hitler called Jewish people vermin.
All the
Okay,
things
then
you
you're a
say-
fascist. There's nothing to talk about. Awesome, cool, bye. And then he's just fucking agreed to it. He's like, yeah, okay, well, now you're fascist. Now you know. Now you know. All right, awesome, cool. He just admitted. That's cool. What's up? What's up? What's going on?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Good morning. What are you, Russian?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you all right.
Oh, okay. It's afternoon where I am. Mega is the fascist movement.
Fascist, yeah.
That is that. Oh, that's what's happening. I 100% disagree.
Sorry, your internet's
I
breaking up.
100% agree. I think Mega is movement for the American people.
Movement for the American people? What?
Is that a little bit?
Movement for the American people? What's he done for me?
Better?
Not really, no. Lick the rabbit ears.
Yeah, so my wages has went up. My wages has went up.
Your wages
Yeah,
have
my
gone.
wages
Be
has
so
went
for
up.
fucking. Be so for
And not to
fucking
mention, I
real.
just withdrew my 401k.
You can open it, it's fine. Be so
Yes,
for
my
fucking real.
wages has went
You
up.
don't need to be
And I
quiet there,
just
you're good.
withdrew my 401k. Yes,
What?
I just withdrew my 401k. Do you know who taxed my 401k? And it wasn't the federal government. You know who taxed it? It was the Democratic J.B. Pritzker.
What?
Who have 401k. It was not
Go-
Trump.
Go get fucking medicated. Are you debating? Hello?
Howdy.
What's up?
How's it
What's
going?
going on? What's going on, Holden?
Um, I just want to say that for the most part, I think I'd probably agree with you in not liking MAGA, but I don't think they're fascists.
Oh, they 100% are. I have no doubts. There are scholars around the globe that have no doubts on this and frequently call them fascist.
I think the issue that I think a lot of people that call them fascist, I think people are like failing to draw the difference between authoritarians, which I think MAGA definitely falls in the authoritarian camp, and
No, it
fascists,
falls in
because
the.
you can be very authoritarian and not fit into the fascist category. I think they're like
Yes,
more.
I'm
Like,
aware
if
of
you could
that.
like get into like why you think the specific reasons, I think that would be. I'll say I'm just calling them authoritarian.
Well, I mean, they are authoritarian, but authoritarian and fascism usually goes hand in hand. Not always, but usually goes hand in hand.
But okay, let me ask: do you think it's possible to be right wing and authoritarian and not be fascist? Or do you think that it's impossible? You have to be. If you have like conservative beliefs and you're authoritarian, you have to be fascist. That they lead in directly.
No, I think it's possible that you're not. We have seen throughout history. I just think in the current political state, in the post Enlightenment outcome of fascism and how it emerges on the right, that you see it most frequently. And I have a hard time finding a situation and where there aren't elements of fascism. Does that mean it's inherently fascist? No, there are some governments that are right wing that you go, it's kind of borderline fascist. In the event of most of the modern world, I would say it's not. Like, for instance, Turkey. I would say that Turkey is a nationalist authoritarian regime. I could not say that they're fascist inherently, right? There are elements there, but I could not say that Erdogan's fascist. In the same way that I could say that, like Pakistan, there are elements of fascism, but is the ISI fascist? Probably not, no. But is there fascist elements in Pakistan? Yeah. Are they borderline that? Yeah, absolutely. And it's very, but here I think they check off more than enough boxes that I can go, yeah, it's an authoritarian fascist regime. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind at this point.
So okay, so what are the boxes that like Erdogan's regime, for instance, doesn't check off that Trump's regime specifically checks off?
Well, I'm not an expert on Turkey, but there are
Yeah,
instances and
that
stuff
is.
that they do. Right, pan-nationalism would be one that would make it fascist. It is authoritarian in nature. However, I don't know the social dynamic of Turkey to the degree that I can make that assessment. I can make that assessment with
Let's just stick
Russia.
to America. Let's just stick to America then. That would be.
Yeah, yeah. It's like okay, so a good example of this would be like actually this is a really good example. Afghanistan. Afghanistan is not fascist, right? Afghanistan is inherently right-wing authoritarian, but it's not fascist, right? And the reason for that is they don't have nationalism. There's no nationalism, no national identity, no understanding of nationalism. It's very tribal within Afghanistan, but it is inherently right-wing. They never experienced an enlightenment, period. They did not experience that enlightenment. And if they had, to some degree, through the 70s, guess what? It's washed away. It's been washed away because of the literal moving of refugees into various different parts of the country. When they came back, it changed the entire dynamic of the country. It's very, very pre-enlightenment. But in the United States, I would say for Trump, it is incredibly nationalistic. You can go through tenets and things that make fascists, and they check off pretty much all the boxes. A want to return to a time of national greatness, or palingenetic ultranationalism, the belief that the city, the rural heartland is where America is, and the city is where it goes to die, the anti-intellectualism, the targeting of schools and universities and education and knowledge and just reality, the constant perpetual gaslighting, the belief that toxic masculinity is okay. And we see this too because, like, you know, nobody would have believed, like, we could have had some distinction about these things years ago, right? Where it could have been like, this is just a no-go. I don't know if you've been seeing there's this clip where this guy, he's trying to justify grape, right?
Yeah,
And
the
that's
Andrew Wilson
right,
guy.
right,
Yeah.
right. And so there's this normalization of things of just being like, no, that's okay, right? And that's very inherently fascist.
I think people like Andrew Wilson have been around and have been spreading their, like, I don't even know what to describe, but like what his viewpoint is. But I don't think those people are even connected with MAGA really. I think
Well,
they're
I mean,
enabled by MAGA, but I don't. I think
but
they're
like
a different
Tate,
breed of. right wing. Yeah.
But like Tate, right? But like Tate,
Mhm.
there's intersectionalism between them.
Mhm.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
What I think I'd agree with you that MAGA definitely is very nationalistic, and fascism has that. That's just very key element of fascism. But I feel for fascism, there's also more of a stronger emphasis on like the state, like the state being like a lot of fascist countries. You'll see, they're usually capitalist, but it's state directed capitalism, like it's state planned capitalism, and I don't think you can really see that direction in MAGA. There's not as much emphasis on this. There's emphasis on a national identity. There's not as much emphasis on the state being like all consuming, being related to every single aspect of your life.
In America right now?
Yeah, I don't really see it as much.
Well, I would say that like these things take time. So like Hitler didn't come into power and immediately change into this national authoritarian whatever, right? Like when Hitler came to power in 1933, he'd been working for a decade to install Nazis at local and local levels in the various
Hmm.
different republics. So he'd been working for a long time to do that. I think to be fair, I think the failure of Trump in this instance is going to be that he's trying to do things too quickly and it's inherently failing. That he's not doing a good
Hmm.
enough job undermining institutions like he wants
But
to.
he hasn't set up
But
like
insofar,
the bedrock for him to like later initiate more extreme policies.
right, right, and I think that's where his failure is going to be. Ultimately, I think that there's going to be mass financial hardship throughout his presidency or towards the end of it. I mean, George Bush took him fucking 2 terms to fuck the economy up. I think we're going to see something very similar, and the economy is a lot more fragile than it previously was. But I think when you start going through and looking through the tenets, you're going to be like, oh shit, this actually makes a lot of sense. One of the books that I recommend to people is called How Fascism Works by Jason Stanley. Jason Stanley actually fled the country. He moved
Hmm.
because he was so concerned about the rise of fascism. I personally think that Trump is going to fail. I think there's too much resistance, not only in his own party, but across the board. I don't think it's going to work. I think it's just going to be a colossal failure. But if you go and read that book, it'll give you a pretty good sense from a
Hmm.
psychological, philosophical perspective of what fascism is, and then you can go from there. But
I,
Snyder
I,
left as
I would
well.
say, yeah, I would say I agree with you for the most part, and I don't think there's a tangible difference between what we're saying. Because even if Trump is not a fascist, if he's like a right wing authoritarian, the tangible impacts of what that is on our lives is not going to be that much different. He's still going to be destructive. He's still going to like initiate very totalitarian policies. So I really think there's much more for us to talk about then, because I think we're pretty much in agreement.
Yeah, I think that it's a definitional thing, but I think it's just trying to
Yeah.
raise awareness to people that we're heading down a path. I don't think he's going to be successful. I think the fear is that it causes so much chaos that everyone's unsure. That being said, I do think that let's be real, Donald Trump,
Hmm.
for as much as he checks all the boxes of fascism, at least in my mind, is very concerned with optics, which fascists are too, funnily enough. But he's
Hmm.
very concerned with how people perceive him. So the reason he changed course on the tariffs and those just went out the window is because he realized it wasn't going to happen. He
Yeah,
realized he
public polling
couldn't
was
do
so
it.
bad. Yeah.
It's so bad on it, and the fact is, it's going to destroy the economy in a matter of months. He knows it. He doesn't want to be the president responsible for that, and so he's going to try and do everything he can to save it. And by the way, it's very similar to what fascists did when they came into Europe. Very similar.
Hmm.
So, but I just wanted to make that apparent. But yeah, no, I appreciate you coming in. I actually got
Yeah.
my
Pretty good
girlfriend's over
combo.
there.
Thank you for having me on.
She wants breakfast. So, yeah, it was good to talk to you.
Yeah. Good luck with the rest of the live.
Are you too? Well, you're not on the line, but have a good day. This guy said, "Shut up, pedo. That feels projective." I feels real projective. All right, guys. So a couple of things. I gotta fix the camera before I go live next time. I got a girlfriend. We had a great weekend. Great weekend. We had a great weekend. And yeah, ugh, had a long weekend. Did a lot of shit. Oh, been a lot of places. Anyway, we're gonna go grab some breakfast, and you guys are awesome, and I will see you guys back here later. 6 p.m. Pacific. And also, really quick, by the way, really quick, I'm gonna swap over. I might not be needing the phone anymore because apparently I don't need a stream key to stream from TikTok Studios. So it looks like I'll be streaming off of my main camera, which is down right now because for some reason the power shut off here at some point over the weekend. I don't know. But when I get that set, and I've never had it shut off like that before, so I don't know what's going on. But when I do get that back up and going, we'll be swapping over. Babe, I'm a racist. Somebody told me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. When we but anyways, so it should be like the full size camera over here. I'm gonna try and set it up at some point today. It might be a little bit late to live, trying to tinker with it to see what happens, but we'll see. Anyways, I gotta go get her some breakfast, and yeah, I'll see you guys 6 p.m. Pacific.